Hi Ken, welcome to the NCU Counseling Center. Before we get started, I'm just going to give you this form and we're going to review it real quick. That way we can protect both of us because there's a lot of legal things that we have to get out of the way. Not a big deal, but just here's your form and we'll just go over it real quick. So we'll start at the top. And first of all, this is Northwest Christian University Clinical Mental Health Counseling Center. And it's also called the Center, so same thing. It offers affordable counseling services to university students and the community as a whole. The counselors are graduate students and they're earning their master's degrees, so they're going to be supervised closely by program faculty all the time. Each counselor has their own unique approach, and that varies from counselor to counselor, so you may not always get the same thing with each counselor. You will be videotaped during your counseling sessions, and that's for learning purposes for the students. And videotapes are kept secured and confidential. They're not shared with anyone who isn't affiliated with the program, and they will be erased after they've been viewed in supervision. The center does not discriminate on the basis of race, color, national or ethnic origin, age, disabilities, sexual orientations, religion, marital status, etc. There's no discrimination. So is that part all clear at the top?
I understand that. Thank you.
Okay. So about counseling. Counseling is a very personal experience for everyone, and to provide the best care that we can for you, it is important that we have a clear understanding of why you're here. So you may be asked questions that seem very personal, and some information may not seem relevant, but it is important, and that's why we're asking you. Counseling works best when both the counselor and the client are working together for the same outcome. So your counselor will expect you to take an active role in the counseling sessions. You can also expect to come to counseling approximately once a week until your concern has been resolved. And weekly sessions approximately last 45 to 50 minutes. Your counselor and you will develop a treatment plan, and you'll have specific goals you want to accomplish. And your counselor may ask you to try out some new behaviors, so be willing to work with that. Is that part all clear to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Good. And so responsibilities of the counselor and the counseling center. The counselor will be punctual and available during your scheduled appointments. They will return your calls in a timely manner. They will be honest, and they will collect fees and practice in an ethical and legal manner. And that keeps everyone safe involved. Your counselor also undergoes regular and rigorous supervision from the faculty. So if you feel your counselor has not acted responsibly, please call the number that's listed on the form and ask to speak with your counselor supervisor. And you also have a right to express dissatisfaction if you're not happy with how it's going. You can also call the number listed here and ask to speak with the director. And they can also assist you in the event that your counselor is unavailable or has moved from the agency.
Good.
So, next page, a risk to counseling. It is just important for you to know that there are risks involved. You may experience stress, especially during the early stages of counseling. Some problems might seem to get worse before they get better, and that's completely natural. Other risks may occur as well, depending on the situation, so ask your counselor about what risks you can expect. Your counseling is also confidential, so that means the things that you discuss are private and protected by Oregon law. But there are some circumstances, and they're listed here on the page. Your counselor will share any information with you they won't share information unless you give written permission to do so. Chart notes, videotapes, and other documentations will be reviewed by a clinical supervisor in both an individual and group format. So, but the circumstances I talked about were defined by Oregon state law, and these are unusual, but they do happen where we do have to breach confidentiality, and they are as follows. If the counselor learns of a specific intent to harm yourself or another person or to commit an act of violence, the counselor will inform a family member or an intended victim or a law enforcement if needed. If the counselor learns that harm or abuse has been done to a child, an elderly person, a disabled person, mentally ill person, the counselor will make a mandatory report to appropriate authorities, and that's a mandatory report. And if your counselor is subpoenaed or court ordered to testify, then he or she may have to give information about you without your permission, but we will try to call you before to let you know what's going on. And privacy is extremely important to anyone involved with counseling. Families in counseling must respect each other's privacy, and you can discuss these privacy issues with your counselor as you go along. So, is everything good so far?
Okay.
Okay. Our aim is to support clients to achieve counseling goals, not to address legal issues such as divorce or custody proceedings. Clients entering treatment at the agency are agreeing not to involve the counselor or the agency in legal or court proceedings, and this policy prevents misuse of counseling for legal objectives. The center also does not formally diagnose mental health conditions, so we may talk about mental health conditions and diagnostic impressions, but there is no documentation on that. And financial information, we don't bill third parties, HMOs, or insurance companies. This is all paid privately. Each 50-minute session is about $5. You can pay by cash or check to the counselor, and take appointments are free, so you don't have to worry about that. And your counselor will then provide you with the receipt. If you can't pay for that, then just talk to your counselor about it, and we'll figure out something to work out with you. So sessions are scheduled by appointment. They're usually 40 to 50 minutes long. Please call to cancel an appointment if you need to cancel. If you keep missing appointments or delinquent accounts, you may lose your loss of that week's session or forfeit your counseling privileges. You may leave a voicemail anytime concerning your sessions or other questions. Voicemails are confidential as well, so you don't have to worry about that. And it would be much appreciated if you would cancel or schedule your appointment immediately if you think that you have a contagious illness or a rash or anything that would, make other people sick, or just let us know, no worries. And prescription medication can alter the mood or otherwise impair clear thinking. So if you arrive under the influence of a prescription medication or alcohol or other drugs, we will be forced to stop the session and reschedule for a later time. If you're really impaired, we're going to have to find other driving options for you. So just letting you know about that. And you cannot be in possession of alcohol, drugs, paraphernalia, or weapons at any time while visiting the center. So if you come with possession of those items, you will be asked to leave immediately, and you might be forfeiting your counseling privileges. So is everything you understand everything so
really
far?
Clear, thanks.
Okay. And then the last thing, we don't provide 24-hour mental health emergency coverage. So if you need anything, call the three numbers listed here: 911, U of O Crisis Line, or Whitebird Clinic. And this agreement, you need to sign only after you have thoroughly read it as well and agree to all aspects involved, including giving consent to treatment. So we want to make sure that you're all clear on this. That way there's no surprises for either of us, and that way we can move forward with your counseling. So if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know.
Okay.
And otherwise, we can just go ahead and sign these and move along.
Good deal.
Okay.
All right.